Hello, 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 my lovelies on Facebook. Hello, 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 my lovelies on Instagram. How are you, gorgeous women and men? Somebody said, how come Donna keeps talking just to the girls? There's some guys here too. Hello, divos. And hello, of course, to my divas. There are way more design divas than there are divos in our community. But guys are welcome. Men are people too. And we love helping men in design too. Hi, I'm Donna Hoffman. They call me the interior design advocate because I advocate on behalf of design lovers everywhere, men and women, who are not getting the results that they want. Your home doesn't look the way you want it to look, and it affects the way you feel. Who needs that aggravation? I say that when you are armed with the right strategy, you can make amazing things happen in your home. And my design students, my design lovers across the country and beyond are constantly surprising themselves with the amazing things that they're doing thanks to the online courses that I have created. I'm also, aside from being a design coach, which I am honored to be and love being, I run a luxury interior design company in the Philadelphia region of the United States. And we work on all manner of projects, whether it's a single room design project or multi-room. We do a lot of whole home and some very large, we do a lot of large homes as well. If you can do a really large home, you can do one room with your eyes closed, right? So the beauty for you guys here in our community is that every Tuesday, I come out here, we stop what we're doing in our design studio, at least a couple of us do, so I can come out here and talk to you about a design topic. We can have a discussion, and when I'm done talking about or teaching a little mini lesson, then I can take your questions on that topic. We don't get visual in these Facebook Lives. It would just be way too much bandwidth for me to be able to weekly create a compelling visual lesson for you. But I do have great free online workshops and great free course, and not free, great free online workshops and paid courses where they're loaded with visuals. And of course, those take hundreds of hours to put together. So I know sometimes somebody will leave a comment saying, I'm a visual learner. I wish you could be a little more visual in your Facebook Lives. I get it. That's not what this purpose here is for us to connect briefly on a weekly basis so I can take some of your questions live. You can pick my brain and we can go for a little design together. So today we're talking about kitchen design trends for 20 and 21. Of course, 20 is like pretty much over. And given everything that's been going on, everybody's like, yeah, get out, 20, we're done with you. Kitchen design trends can make people really nervous because you think, holy cow, I just did my kitchen last year or 2 years ago. Is everything out? Am I going to hate what I have? First of all, you always have to design what you love, because you're going to live with it for a long time. And you have to know that the trend train never stops. So what you want to do is you want to look out on the horizon if you're doing a kitchen now or about to do a kitchen. You want to be aware of what the trending directions are, and then you modify them as you need to what you love and to what works in your home. So as I tell you what's out or what's dropping like flies, I don't want anybody to panic. I work in the interior design trade. Designers, I don't redesign every room in my home every year or every 3 years. You know, you kind of cycle through and think, okay, this is the room that needs some help, and okay, now how about this room, and what can we do to modify and update? So it's possible you'll walk away from this trend update saying, you know, I just did my kitchen 8 years ago and I'm not redoing it for a while. I've got colleges to pay for or whatever. But maybe there's some modifications that you can do to bring it forward. And of course, you can certainly do that with furniture. It's something so much easier to do than you realize. But that's not what we're talking about. That's my little preamble so I don't hear any panicking, crying, screaming, or wailing out there, okay? So, kitchen design trends for 2021. So in general, what we're seeing across the country and beyond is that there is a desire for more clean lines. And we're seeing, you know, we're really dropping away our, you know, the corbels with all of the cut work, right? Just clean, simple movements of things. So as those lines have become more clean, simple, streamlined, the door styles have changed. So rather than these raised panel doors with a lot of detail to them, we're seeing recessed panel and where things look a little flatter. We're also seeing something called a slab door. And if you want to Google these terms afterwards to look for some visuals. Look for visuals on raised panel kitchen cabinets, raised panel kitchen cabinets, and recessed panel kitchen cabinets. Okay, and then there's a slab door that is just, it has 0 on it, on its face front. That's much more modern, much more clean looking. And we're seeing that as a trend continuing. Now, just remember, as I've said in the past when I've taught you guys about trend lines follow different moments in different regions of the country, right? And from city to suburb. What a dweller in Philadelphia asks me to design for him or her will be different than what somebody living out here in the burbs of Philadelphia would ask me to design for them in most cases, okay? So that the slab door, raised panel, not so much, recessed panel, yes. You know, a lot of you are seeing, and we've been seeing it for a while, that very simple, a lot of you call it like a shaker door, where it just has a very simple trim, wide shoulder going around it. This is interesting too. When it comes to drawer bases, like a run of drawers, we're seeing fewer center rails. Now we're starting to see where the drawer face to drawer face to drawer face, it just stacks very neatly without a center rail of cabinetry in between. We're seeing open shelving continue. We've seen that start about 2 years ago or so. It's continuing. And metal strapping with that is also starting to come into play. So whether it's a metal strapping that goes around the edge of that shelf, really cool, or whether it looks as if the whole thing is being held up by metal strap work across this on either end, very handsome. And we're also seeing still unusual uses with that open shelving. Sometimes it's right over a window, which is odd, right? For some of you, if you think, God, I only have one window in my kitchen. But in other residences where there's a run of windows, a bank of windows, people are giving up some of that real estate and doing an interesting 3-shelf run with metal strap work in front of it, and then accessorizing it kind of coolly. So just telling you what's happening out there. We're seeing more pattern coming into the kitchen, and we have been for a while now. Oh dear, getting a phone call. Sorry about that. Got to decline that. Oops, that's an important call. I just declined. That's how important you guys are. I got to get that. Can you remind me to call Travis when when I'm done with this builder I've got to get to? Anyway, patterned tile happening for sure. Starting as far as tile goes, we're seeing the continuation. I know everybody loves the subway tile. We're still seeing it, but we're seeing now some to try to make it different, right? People want that next thing. We're seeing grout coming in a color, in a navy blue, in a bright blue, in a black, in a yellow. Some cool things happening out there. We're also seeing sweeps of stone. So you can take your countertop stone and then push it right up onto the entire backsplash, but not stopping at that 18-inch under the cabinets, then running it all the way up behind your cooktop. So it's just this very clean. Remember I said the lines are just clean, long expanses of things? That's what we're going to continue to see, I should say, into 21 and beyond. And within that, we've been seeing and continue to see waterfall of countertop. That's when a countertop goes off the edge of the cabinets and then it just drops all the way down the side. It's very clean looking, very beautiful looking, as if it literally waterfalled or spilled down the side of an island, let's say. More modern, yes. And we're also continuing to see things called a mitered edge of countertop. So rather than the standard thickness of counter, we're seeing what looks like, you know, a really thick counter. It's really not. It's just applied stone. So it looks like you've got this type of lip around the edge of your countertop, maybe on just the island as an accent. Really handsome. Metal. So I started to say metal strap work, definitely seeing that continue. We're also seeing some metal drawer fronts, like the entire drawer can go metal. Why? Well, the cabinet colors are still staying at two extremes. We're seeing far less stained. I will talk to you about where staining is showing up. We're seeing a lot more painted cabinetry continuing. But when that cabinetry shows up, it's either very light and it's, you know, a white or a warm white or very pale gray or very pale grayish color or very pale kind of sandy color with a gray undertone, or it's dark. It's like an ebony or a charcoal. So when you have these lighter cabinets in particular, which seems still to be the stronger, most popular choice, when you have these lighter cabinets, the idea is to create some contrast with them. And that's why all this metal strap work, I think, is starting to take off, or the metal drawer fronts, is to create something that breaks up all of the white. The all-white kitchen has been around for a while, which is why you see design brains pushing to try to find something else. What is the next thing? How can I freshen up that white kitchen so that it looks, not even freshen it up, how can I do something that feels a little more signature so it doesn't feel like another Me Too kind of copycat kitchen, right? And that, on a note on that, you know, look, every design diva, design lover out there, there are different personalities. Some design divas want to just take a picture and say, I want that. Give me that. That's what I'm looking for from my Pinterest boards. Other design divas say, no, I want a piece of this and a piece of that and a piece of this picture, but then I want something a little different. And then other design lovers say, I want to be cutting edge. I want to lead the charge. So what I'm sharing with you is the most forward piece of the push in trending, right? So you might absorb some of this or a little bit of it or none of it, depending upon where you are in that spectrum. You might be a late adapter versus an early adapter. The thing that we're not seeing specified, I mean, it's really kind of dropped like flies, that stained cherry kitchen, the stained oak kitchen, we're not seeing that. Here's where when we are seeing oak show up as a stain, or a very pale stained maple, when the wood color stain is super light or is in that a pale oak color and is paired with a white cabinet. Something we're seeing, you know, in the Southwest, in Texas, in California, this combined materials of painted and stained cabinetry. But when that's happening, we're seeing mostly really light on the paint side, and then the stain can go into like a quarter sawn oak or something really exciting looking in a lighter stain and a lighter color. What else I want to tell you? We talked about the grout. We talked about metal. Oh, I always get questions about shiplap. Is shiplap still current? I think it's super trendy. I wouldn't put it on a super important place. I wouldn't. If you want to do something different with it, put it on do the front of your island in a shiplap. You know, use it in a different way, or do your pantry doors in a shiplap. You know, just do like a little sprinkle of them, that sort of thing. You know what else we are not seeing specified, and we haven't for a while, and we continue to not see them? The raised bar, where you have, you know, a kitchen counter on an island, and then there's a raised area beyond that. We're not seeing as much of that. Again, tracking back to that clean line, clean movement of things. Interestingly too, in the last couple of years, last 2 years or so at least, and moving forward, we're not seeing people paneling every single appliance. It's almost like, hey, I want to show you my really fabulous refrigerator. So still paneling, when possible, the front of the dishwasher. Again, why break up that line at the base of your cabinets? You know, nice to get a strong sweep. But refrigerators is turning into a little bit more of a brag fest in some kitchens. Same thing with hoods. Everything used to be contained, you know, for a while when those stained cherry cabinets were so big. People were doing these beautiful hood surrounds. It was also stained cherry. And now we're seeing some handsome metal hoods, like gorgeous, some of them. They're going to be really pricey. Metal hoods with some beautiful strapping, or a colored metal hood. Somebody asked me a question, I'll get to it in a bit, about when is color coming into cabinets. We are still seeing blue cabinetry, either as an accent on an island or an accent run through the center of some cabinetry. You could do the whole kitchen if you're really bold that way. So like a bright navy. We're also seeing hunter green starting to come in. That's very on the early adapting edge. We'll see if that goes much further. And what else? Oh, and a little bit of teal happening. I don't see that as strongly happening. And in terms of metal colors, look, you're not going to be wrong or out if you have a brushed silver in your kitchen for your hardware, or a high polished silver. The newer finishes, or a black metal, the newer finishes that we've been seeing happening, brass is now being called sometimes a honey brass. It literally looks like brass that had a really rich, oaky colored honey poured over it. I'm really into honey these days, so I just made my own mouth water. What up with that? So honey brass is a really handsome metal that we're seeing newer on the scene, and also gunmetal, really good looking. So for gunmetal, you can Google it. When you do, so guns don't come up. If you're looking for gunmetal hardware in kitchens, make sure that your browser knows what you're looking for. So gunmetal color, picture a brushed silver that had a little bit of black mixed into it. It just kind of burnished down. It oxidized down even better. Really rich. Why are those colors really warm? Again, against light cabinetry, they look fantastic. So I think I got most of it. And one of you gorgeous design divas, brilliant design divas, sent me a question really early because an important meeting is happening. So as I open this up to everybody, you can start putting your questions in. As long as I don't need to see a picture of your space to answer you about your kitchen, please keep it on topic. As long as I don't need a measuring tape or a calculator to be able to answer you in terms of measurements, I'm happy to take your question. And while you're putting your question in, I'll give you some time on that, and I'll let you know that if you missed any portion of this, you can find us on YouTube at The Interior Design Advocate. There it is. And if you are following us on Instagram on this feed, you may also want to check out our at IDH Designs feed. At IDH Designs is for my design studio. You'll see what inspires us, what we're working on. I was supposed to get out there and show you stuff going on in the studio this week. Didn't do that yet. I don't know how to take you down to the studio if I'm working on budgeting. How exciting is that to look at? No, it's important, but not exciting. Also, if you're not following us over there on Facebook, if you're not following us on the Interior Design Advocates feed at decorating.genius, have a look at that, at decorating.genius, you're missing the party, girlfriend. So you can get over there and take a look at that. All right, so the wonderful and brilliant Lois Schapper Filalier, I hope I said Filalier, I hope I said that right. Lois wrote this in to us early today because she wanted to make sure we got this. And Steve was so impressed that, Don, you have to answer this. So I said, you got it, print it out for me. So Lois said, I'm hoping to get my question in as we meet with our cabinet maker in a new build in a few days. Is a light sage green painted island with whitish perimeter cabinets as a trend? Will that go away and make me wish I picked something else? Blue is my other considered island color. You know, Lois, certainly, as we've been talking, we see this trend continuing where there's a light cabinet perimeter, and then you can do something darker in the center. I should have mentioned black is also, and the black and white kitchen, definitely continuing. And you could do that black as a black island also. Here's the thing. If you are an early adapter or hey, I like to do my thing, pick any color that you want to pop on that island, as long as you know you're not moving in the next 7 years and it's something you're going to be living with for a long time. I don't see why you can't get signature. Why can't you do a dark navy, even though a bright navy might be what's trending right now, but you like a bright navy, you know? So there's stuff that you can do, Lois, without feeling like you have to totally be a trend hound. That light sage green it's not the newest thing that I'm seeing on the scene. I think it'll look really fresh and beautiful, and I would do it if you love it. I really would. And the great thing, don't throw meatballs at the screen here, but if it's just the island where you're stepping out with color, if at some point you regret that color, do you have any idea how easy it is to have a cabinet group that refinishes come in and just repaint just your island cabinetry? So easy. So little tumult in that job compared to doing the whole kitchen. So I think you should indulge it. I think it'll look really pretty and fresh. That's what I say, Lois. So there it is. Hope that helps you. Hope I didn't confuse you. Hope I made that easier for you. All right. Ilya is saying, who sets the trends that you mentioned? Are they like fashion trends? That's such a good question. Such a good question. This reminds me, I write these little cartoons, or I used to. We should publish our color trend cartoon again. Mm-hmm. We kind of made fun of who's making up these trends. So, because everybody asks, like, who are the experts that came up with this bright idea? Here's what happens. And I teach a great class on this. It's part of my Decorating Genius course, I think, how to read trends and how trends work. But in a nutshell, trends are spotted in different spots. They're spotted at trade shows. They're spotted in hotels. They're by really famous designers and cutting-edge design teams. They're spotted in high-end residential projects. They're spotted by an editor, and then the editor publishes it. And now it's all over the place. Everybody loves the blah blah that they saw Jamie Drake do, or Vicente Wolf, or whoever. Or it gets spotted at a show house, and it starts to pick up traction from there. So what I'm talking about is not, hey, I went to the Maison and Objet show in Paris and I saw, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I wonder if it'll catch as a trend. What I'm talking about now are things that we are seeing trending. Clients, consumers are saying, give me that. Ooh, I want to try that. We're seeing these things show up. So I'm reporting on what's happening. And it's really you, the consumer, and you, the design client, that gives trends their life. So hopefully that helps answer you there. Really good question. So Lois, I already answered you. So there it is. I'm getting all kinds of hellos from Fort Lauderdale. Hi, Claudette in Fort Lauderdale, and hello to our amazing Donna from Marishka. Thank you. Marcia, I'm sorry. I butchered your name. I apologize. I may not be so amazing to Marcia now. Elizabeth is saying hello and love from Magnolia, Texas. Oh, that sounds like such a great place. Magnolia. Love that. Magnolia, Texas. Well, love back to you, Elizabeth. Jane is saying hello from the pool in Florida. Rub it in, Jane. I'm glad you're there. Joe is saying hello from New Jersey. Been away, but happy to catch. Oh, but she's been catching up on past videos on YouTube. Yay. Hello from Bucks County from Kim. Kim, we're in Bucks County too, so maybe I might bump into you at the McCaffreys. Okay, so North Carolina's here. Okay, here we go. Questions are coming. So Rachel G is saying, would it be weird? I already like this question, and I already like you, Rachel. Would it be weird to have just a single light fixture over a small island with an 8-foot ceiling, and the island is only 45 long and 25 deep? Depends on the fixture, Rachel. I mean, if the fixture is a long fixture or has good presence in terms of size, diameter, I don't see a problem with it. 45 long, I think you could do 2 fixtures over that and keep them in that. I would probably do 2 and do 18s, 16s or 18s. Draw it out on a piece of paper, see how you like that, but to scale, or do it on a computer program. So I would probably do that before I did the single fixture. But if you're modern, you might do a really cool, I don't know, cool modern, what are all those fixtures we keep trying to show to our client in Princeton?
Oh God, I wouldn't even, a Sputnik.
A Sputnik, like a cool Sputnik kind of something. How good is that? Yeah, so there it is. So hopefully I answered you and opened your thinking, Rachel, but I'd have to see a picture to really be able to answer you well, and I don't think you're a student of mine, so you can't post a picture in our private groups. I don't know if you guys know this, but our courses all have their own private group where people can post pictures and show it to the whole amazing Design Diva community back there. There are a couple of divos in there too, a couple of guys, and our team is looking at those images too. Jane is saying, welcome back 1980s slab doors. Well, yeah, but it's different, Jane, in that it's the delivery. It's different than what they look like in the 80s because of the finishes and the combinations of materials. But Jane makes a great point that how things cycle back. Marcia is saying European trends entering the USA. I think some of the more modern trends, the lacquered, we're going to hop onto a really cool design build shortly, like, well, we are right now, actually. I think some of the interesting lacquered slab doors are crazy pants good, and some of it looks very European to me. A lot of the really modern styling looks like it has its seeds over in Europe. The Europeans are more modern generally in their design style preferences. I'm speaking very generally than the US. So funny how, yeah, I'm not going to make that comment. Okay. Meg McConnell is saying, hi from Tampa. Could you please discuss under cabinet lighting? Oh, you know, I was just talking to a kitchen designer who I just love to bits. And she is so excited about where under cabinet lighting is going. And she was telling me why. And I don't recall what technology she was saying is like the newest, latest, and greatest that she's bringing in. But it's a very clean light. And she also loves lighting toe kicks for like a moody kind of thing in a kitchen at night or when you're entertaining, having a party. So the lighting in a kitchen is kind of becoming part of the design in new ways to broadcast ambiance and mood. I apologize that I cannot for the life of me remember the name of this technology. It's a quality of light that she really likes and is excited about, but I couldn't even remember Sputnik before. So this means that it's the end of the design day for me and I'm getting tired. So I'm sorry to let you down there, Meg. Meg, if you have a more specific question, why don't you throw it in there? I didn't really give you too much. I owe you. Catherine is saying backsplash forecast for white cabinets and snowy quartz countertops. Listen, I don't look. I'm getting tired of Subway. I love it. I think it's beautiful, but everybody has it. So if you want to do something there, but something a little more, I don't know what your design fingerprint is, Catherine. You want to do something a little pow. You can add like a colored, I love black, so I'm going to do a black and white thing in design right now. Oh, look at all these questions coming in. Got to move it along. Shorter answers. I think you could do that. Play with your grout color. I think you can. I think we're still seeing a lot of the herringbone lay-ins with what you're talking about with some sort of white tile. We're seeing hexagonal tiles coming in, shaped tiles. Pattern is really, I think, the newer thing that you're seeing. And in the white kitchen, with what you're describing, I think that could be really, really interesting, Catherine, to start to look at, if you're doing a white tile, to get shape to it, pattern to it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, on Instagram, Damon CSF is saying, what do you see as design elements of a kitchen that will stand the test of time? You know, I get this question constantly from you guys, from clients, about kitchens, about flooring, about sofas, about fabrics. You cannot outrun trends. Eventually, it's going to come and bite you in the rear end. You know, there was a time when the country French kitchen trend, this is a classic. It's French provincial. Yeah, it's classic, but the trend style popped and people aren't asking for it anymore. So I think you have to design what you love and expect that eventually 15 years after you put it in, 12 years after you put it in, you're going to see that you need to do something else. Uh-oh, what happened here? Why was my live video interrupted, paused? Oh, it should resume shortly. Oh, that's not good.
It's a connection issue.
It's a connection issue. There it is. Must be. Okay, let me stop wiggling my mouse. So, Damon, I'm not trying to brush you off, but this is the $4 million question. And if I knew the answer, I'd be $4 million richer than I am. You cannot outrun trends. Everything ultimately runs its trend's moment. I know there's a blogger who I like and respect, but she's like it's got to be the white kitchen and it's got to be white subway tile. Eventually, that is going to turn into something else. Eventually, it will. Okay? Even though subway tile is classic. So do what you love. Be aware of trends. Look at what's coming in now, and know that there is no such thing as a forever choice. But if you love it, big whoop. if it eventually in 15 years or 18 years, you look at it and say, well, this looks like it's out of trend, but I love it. So there it is. That's the best answer I have for you. Same thing with hairstyles, same thing with clothing, right? So there it is. Okay, so back to Facebook. New ideas and trends for backsplash walls. Yeah, really interesting graphic tile, like really graphic, very geometric, looking very, very cool. I think that's something newer that we're seeing. That's kind of cool and interesting. Do you have some pics of what you're talking about? Debbie? No, I do not. We just talked about this when we started this. This is a conversation, and I know particularly talking about trends, I know you guys want me to get real visual. To put together a gorgeous workshop with a lot of visuals is hundreds of hours, and to put together a course, a full course with gorgeous visuals, we put thousands of hours into our courses. So these weekly meetups, this is really an opportunity to have a chat with you. Feel free to Google some of the terms that I'm using, but I just don't have the bandwidth. I'm running a big design company. I just don't have, or a busy design company. I don't have the bandwidth to put together a new lesson with gorgeous visuals for every week. So I don't want to disappoint you. I want to be real clear that this is like a quick conversation, quick meetup, okay? But if you want visuals, check out any of our workshops, our free workshops, or our paid courses. All right, Debbie, but thank you for asking. Sorry to disappoint. Jane is saying, how can you keep a kitchen reno timeless? Color, backsplash, flooring. Yeah, I think some of the things that we've already talked about, be aware of the trends, and read the reports, see what's coming down the pike. And if you're really worried about being trendy, be more moderate in the choices that you make. Don't be an early adapter on something because it may not catch. It may not, catch on and be the latest and greatest thing. It's the best thing I can answer you with. Eventually things do trend. They trend out, they trend down, and trends slow down. And as I've said in the past, when I've taught you guys about trends don't just go dead. Like when you give birth, you go from being pregnant to totally not pregnant because you've given birth. When you recover from a cold, you gradually get better, right? Well, same thing when a trend is starting to slow down, you start to see it pacing downward. It can take years for a trend to start to pace down, and then it can start to shift and morph and gain traction and change ever so slightly, right? So it's not like you'll wake up one day and say, oh, good grief, my kitchen is out. You're going to start to see things starting to morph and change. And let me tell you something. If you have a raised panel door and you want to turn it into a white painted kitchen, right now it's maybe a stained kitchen, just paint to get the color on trend. And the fact that it's a raised panel instead of a recessed panel, I don't think most eyeballs will pick that up, right? So I think you can get so caught up in things that you're afraid to make a choice. And I don't want you guys to feel that way, but I know kitchens are scary because they're pricey to do. Is crown molding on cabinets out? Nope, we're still seeing crown. And Ned is saying metal drawer fronts. Can you drop any company names? I've never seen them. No, I can't drop any names. Google them. See what you come up with because they're cool looking. Jennifer on Insta is saying Butler pantries. Do they need to be the same as the kitchen? My kitchen cabinets are off-white. Butler pantries are in a different room. Yeah, I don't always marry it to the kitchen. I'm working on a beautiful new build in Princeton, New Jersey. Really beautiful home. I don't see this marrying to the kitchen at all because of where the Butler pantry is placed. I think it's going to be a great accent color, and it's going to link much more to the dining room where you're going to catch glimpses of it through some arched doorways. So great question. Answer, I don't think you have. I think you're okay for it to be different because of where it's placed. Obviously, if it's placed as an extension of the kitchen in line with that kitchen, then you probably do want to make it marry more so. It's really a little more case by case. I'm getting hearts on that one. Yay. Final two questions according to KDB. All right. So Marcia is saying, can we make island walls in the kitchen an accent wall? Can we make island walls different color than the wall in the kitchen? I don't know what you mean by an island wall. So islands float and they're away from the wall. So I'm going to pass that question. I don't understand. Is cabinetry as a balance over a kitchen window in? No, don't do it. Don't do it. I never like that, and it's not in. Cabinet makers think it's in, but it's not in because it forces you to drop your window treatment down low. Now, if you're just doing a shade, maybe a woven wood mounted on your casement, all right, then you don't want to go above your window. But if you're doing any sort of valance or what looks like a shade, it's looks like a Roman, but it's really a valance, going up high above that window, staying off the glass, cutting enough into the window so that you cover the top of the casement and some of the glass. You make that window look and feel so much bigger. I just do not want to. I am very anti the thing going across the top. Sorry. I try not to be so opinionated with you peeps, but there it slipped out. Carmen is saying knobs versus long handles. What are the trends? They're both in, Carmen. It's more about the color, and it also depends on who you are in design. Some people, they stand back and they think about their kitchen cabinetry and just seeing a little knob everywhere, just like very calming to them. Other people like the idea of there being this linear pull, but then having that pull go horizontal on a drawer front bothers them. Other people like, yeah, it's really linear, I like it. Or doing a combo of pulls and knobs. So they're all in. I don't think you've got to worry about that. Think more about the finish that you want to do. And guys, that's a great place to step out on trends also. If you wanted to just be a little kicky with it, you could do your cabinetry hardware in a more trend forward finish color, because if you decided that you wanted to pull it and replace it down the line, that is not the biggest nut in your, in terms of an expense in your kitchen. So just a thought for you there. Like let's say right now you're loving the honey gold, but you're afraid in a couple of years you may regret the decision. You might say, you know what, I'm going to give myself that, and if I regret it in a few years, I can, replace that for several $100s or maybe $1,000, depending upon your kitchen size. Alice is here from Smoking, California. Alice, oh my gosh, so worried about you guys out there and sending thoughts and prayers. I hope you are okay. Give us a comment. Let us know you're okay. Okay, so Rhonda Bone is saying she's loving the gunmetal. Rhonda is so hip. She's loving the gunmetal, but wondering if it's caught my attention because it's unique in my world. I just like unique things. Now, it's good looking. It's very warm. The whole thing with the white on white kitchens is they can get cold, especially if you're splashing a lot of glam kind of elements in them. So I think that gunmetal was just a way to warm up the white kitchen. That's my own theory, but I could be all wet. And then Marcia is saying I'm still amazing, even though I disappointed her in something. All right, that's good. She didn't say that. Say I'm still amazing. I'm glad. Thank you. Monica would say, can you address lighting built into or attached to cabinets? Yes, to a point I can. So if you have lit cabinets, got to remember, guys, if your shelf is opaque, if it's wood and you do a puck light at the top, you're not going to get anything beyond that top shelf. So there are some really nice diode light. There's some nice diode light strips where you can put it. It's a strip that goes, I think it's mounted at the front of the cabinet, but behind some of the door trim, cabinet door trim, and it'll just send a nice wash, and you're not getting, you don't like get all the glare of the light element itself. It's good. It's good looking. I think I've already talked about lighting a bit, so I'm going to move on. I know I'm past the point. Getting more hellos. Rachel, I skipped your question. I thought I answered you, Rachel. Rachel, if I skipped your question, I apologize. Lots of peeps, and I'm just trying to scooch through here and get as many people out here as I can. And then, okay, Tasha is saying, what if you have a busy granite counter? Should you keep the backsplash tone down? Good question, Tasha. It depends on who you are in design. Do you like a lot of pattern, a lot of movement, or don't you? For some people, quieting down one element because there's a lot of movement in another element is exactly what they would need. So I'd tell you to please take a look at your inspo images and notice who you are in design with your counters and your backsplashes. Do you like a lot of movement? Do you like a lot of pattern on pattern? Okay. So listen, guys, I've got to call a builder back, so I have to wrap this. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize. There's a lot of you and one of me. If you missed any portion of this, you can find us on YouTube at the Interior Design Advocate. I hope you're giving us a follow at decorating.genius. You guys are already there. You're already in the know. And if you guys would like to follow us at decorating.genius, that's for my teaching brand, my coaching brand called the Interior Design Advocate. And if you're not already following us on our Instagram for our interior design company at IDH Designs, there it is, and you can see what mischief we're getting into. Okay, lovelies, next week we are talking about something pretty cool next week. Where's my notes? Where's my notes? Okay, hold for it, hold for it. This is a good one. It's a good one, and it's a give me, because you guys can ask me more general project questions. It is called 3 Decorating Ideas for Your Whole Home. 3 great decorating ideas for your whole home. 3 great decorating ideas for your whole home. This coming next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We will be there, and you can bring your questions with you as well. Okay, loves, I will see you next week. Please enjoy. Have a good week. Stay safe and stay healthy, everybody. Bye. Hi, this is Donna. Thanks so much for watching. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and comment below so I know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the Interior Design Advocates channel so you don't miss any of our great content.